Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the Omro Heist. And this is from writer-director Jamie Bailey, and this film focuses on the story of a bank robbery goes wrong in a once quiet Wisconsin small town. The locals must stand up to take down an evil gunman who will kill anyone that gets in his way. And this film is obviously very much bank robbery heist kind of film, and it certainly has a pretty low budget, and it's very obvious when you're watching the film, but I feel like Bailey and his crew do a really good job of building tension and making you kind of forget that you can tell that this film is not exactly going to be hitting a whole lot of areas from a technical standpoint that stand out. And from a narrative standpoint, you have a lot of those cliches and expected elements of a bank robbery film. And there certainly are some twists and turns that open up the film to some bigger concepts and ideas when it comes to politics and stuff like that, and which gives the film some extra layers to it, despite the fact that for the most part it is still very much a film about a bank robbery, and it hits those kinds of beats that you would expect. And I do appreciate some of the finer details of this father-son dynamic between the police chief and his son, who's also in law enforcement, and their dynamic adds some interesting layers. He also has a woman in this bank that the son has a connection with, and adds some layers. And like I mentioned, there's a little bit more to this heist than meets the eye, and kind of opens up the scale a bit, and there's some interesting elements there too. This isn't particularly fresh or going to be shocking or subversive, but it does at least have some of those elements, and I think across the board generally, the cast, despite the fact that this is a small film and maybe decent chunk of them are more amateur actors, they give fine performances and commit to their roles and make them feel authentic in the context of the story. And at the end of the day, I think this film has enough going for it that by the end, it hits a lot of those elements that you want to see out of a bank robbery film, a crime thriller, and, it has some enjoyment to be had along the way. But those are my thoughts on the Omro Heist. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.